Welcome G7s. We're going to be talking about factors, which is a number sense skill, looking at different forms of writing numbers and skills working with numbers. And that is going towards our overall unit question of how do stockholders use math. So when we look at factors, the definition of a factor is that factors are numbers that will divide exactly into another number. Remember, in these notes, it's advisable that you pause the recording and the video if you need to write this down, because I might not actually give you enough time to write it as we're explaining it. All right, let's, for instance, look at the number 12. 12 is a number that has several factors, but what are they? Well, I'll tell you right now that they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. But why are those numbers factors of 12 and not, for instance, 5, 7, or 10? Well, the reason that those are factors is because each of those numbers can divide exactly into 12 without leaving a decimal or a remainder. For instance, 12 can be divided by 2 exactly 6 times. And 12 can be divided by 6 exactly 2 times. So 2 and 6 are factors of 12. Okay. 5 can divide into 12, but the answer is 2.4. Okay. That's decimal. It's not a whole number, so we wouldn't call 5 a factor of 12. Okay. Why don't you see if you can give it a try? See if you can list out what are the factors of 18, and then after you've listed the factors of 18, see if you can list the factors of 60. I would suggest pausing it now and listing those out. I will be checking those in the notes. Okay, now hopefully you've listed the factors of 60 out, but that might take a while. We don't want to necessarily check every number. Does 30 go into 60? Yes. Does 31? No. Does 32? No. That could take a long time for a number like 60. So I'm going to teach you a real quick shortcut, and that is to take the number 60. Let's rewrite that, move it down. And next to 60, I'm going to draw a line. And under 60, I'm also going to draw another line. This looks a little bit like a ladder maybe. And I'm going to ask myself, what number goes into 60? Well, the number 1 always is a factor of whatever number. Okay, so we always start this exercise by writing 1 and the number that we're talking about. If it was the factors of 18, I would write 1 on the left and 18 on the right. But what I do next is I don't start guessing factors. I actually start from the number 1 and then I move to the next number, the number 2. And I ask myself, is 2 a factor of 60? If it is, then I write the number 2 there. Next to it, I actually write what 2 times equals 60. So 2 times 30 is equal to 60. And then I move down. After 2 is the number 3. Does 3 go into 60? Well, yes it does. So I write in the number 3. And 3 times 20 goes into 60. What about the number 4? Okay, I go on. 4 actually does go into 60. It's a little trickier. That goes in 15 times. I then move on to 5. 5 goes in 12 times. And then 6. 6 does go in 10 times. But then I keep going. What about 7? No, 7 doesn't go in. 8? No. 9? No. 10? Yes. But if you notice, I already have the number 10. When I get to a number that I've already written on the right side, that means I have listed all the factors of that number. This can be used for any number, and this is how I want you to show your work. We need to write them in order, so please, when asked to list the factors of something, use this method. It'll make it faster, easier, and neat. Now, some of you might have struggled with that number 4 going in 15 times, and the question then is, well, how do we know if a number is a factor or not? Is there a way to do some shortcuts? And there are some shortcuts. We have some divisibility tests, we call them, that help us know, does a number go in? Many of us know the rule for the number 2. Is something divided by 2? Well, if it's even, it is. And that's what this rule says, if the last digit is 0 or even, so 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then the whole number is divisible by 2. But there are some for others. For instance, the number 3 is divisible if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So you add up all the numbers in the number, and if it can be divided by 3, then the big number is divisible by 3. Okay? For 4, for instance, we only worry about the last 2 digits if it's divisible by 4. Number 5, if it's a 0 or a 5. 10, the number is 0. More importantly than copying it all now would be that these are on page 59 of your book. You might want to go to page 59 to get the complete set of visibility tests, where you can think then about, well, what about 6 and 8, 12? Can you come up with your own rules, or are there rules there? Okay. Make sure that you have asked yourself some questions and written those down along with your Learn It notes. Don't forget to have some questions to ask me in class.